Raise your hand if you would love to enjoy breakfast that includes chocolate. And yes, you can raise 2 hands. I'm showing you how easy it is for you to make my healthy double chocolate granola. Unlike cereals that can leave you crashing before lunchtime, this gluten-free granola is made nutrient-dense with 3 superfoods, including rolled oats, almonds, and chia seeds. And it's naturally sweetened with maple syrup, coconut sugar, and dark chocolate. I have made it full of flavor, but it only has 5 grams of sugar per serving. We're going to start with our first superfood, which is almonds. You can buy slivered almonds or start with whole almonds that you chop yourself. So I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of almonds to the chopper cup that came with my immersion blender. And then I simply put on the lid, turn it to high, and let it run for a few seconds. And now we can add the chopped almonds to our mixing bowl along with our other dry ingredients. We'll start with 3½ cups of oats, and you'll want to use the old-fashioned oats because they're larger in size than quick oats, and this will give you a better bite in your granola. And then we'll add 1/3 cup of cocoa powder, 3 tablespoons of chia seed, another highly nutritious superfood, 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then we'll go ahead and just give those a gentle mix with our spatula. And then we'll set that aside as we mix together our wet ingredients. And we're going to start with 1/3 cup of maple syrup, 1/3 cup of coconut oil, 1/3 cup of almond butter, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, and for extra flavor, I love adding 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. And I just use the lid. And then I find it works best just to mix this with a fork. Then you can kind of mash the almond butter to help it dissolve. That smells incredible. Now that that's nice and smooth, we can go ahead and just pour it over our dry ingredients. And you're probably wondering, where's all the chocolate? As soon as we start mixing, you're going to see all that nice dark chocolate. I'm just going to take my spatula and just continually turn my bowl and just mix it together with kind of a chopping motion. I don't know if that's an exact culinary term, but it gets the job done. And then you can kind of use the flat side of your spatula to kind of press down if you see any clumps of chocolate or sugar or anything else. Now I thought it smelled good before, but now it really smells good with the oats and the cocoa powder. Now that it's all mixed together and well coated, we'll set this aside to prepare our pan. Now you'll want to start with a full-size baking sheet, and I have a really great hack that's going to make it super easy to move your granola around and to remove it from the pan when you're done. So you're just going to take a roll of parchment paper, and then you're going to pull out a piece that is about 2 inches longer on both ends, and then go ahead and trim that. We'll see how good my trimming skills are. Not bad. Didn't have to use scissors. Now I'm just going to flip it upside down so that the roll is facing up, which helps it stay flatter. And then we're going to simply dump our granola into our pan. And then using our spatula, we'll just spread our granola around so that it's evenly distributed. Now I call this recipe double chocolate granola for a reason, and that's because not only does it have the cocoa powder, but it also is going to have chocolate chips spread throughout. And I really like to use these nhyuio no sugar added chocolate chips. I like these because they use date sugar and they don't have any sugar alcohols or stevia. They're also dairy free. But you could absolutely use any chocolate chips that you like. So I can go ahead and just sprinkle these on top of the granola. And I like sprinkling these on by hand as opposed to mixing it in, because then I can make sure they're evenly distributed. Well, that looks fantastic, and it's ready to go into a 350-degree oven for 7 minutes. And as soon as your timer goes off, you're going to want to take your pan of granola out of the oven and then set it onto your counter. And what we want to do is kind of move the granola around so it can cook evenly. So with our parchment paper, we're just going to take the edges and lift and move the granola to the center. This is another reason why it's really convenient to use the parchment paper. And then we're going to take our spatula and then we'll just go through and spread our granola around again. And we really want to spread that melted chocolate on all the granola because that's what's going to make those really yummy granola clusters that are so delicious and are especially satisfying when you're eating it as a bowl of cereal. And spreading it around, make sure that the granola around the edges doesn't get more toasted than the granola that's at the center. And then we're going to simply return this back to the oven for another 7 minutes. Now that our 7 minutes are up, we're gonna take our granola out of our oven, and I can set it directly on my counter because these are granite. And then now, using my parchment paper, I'm gonna slide it on up to my cooling rack. And just like that, I have a clean pan that I just have to let cool off and don't have to wash. And then I'll let the granola sit for a few minutes until it cools off. I've been very patient and I've waited for the granola to cool, and I am so excited to try it. It's exactly what you want in a granola. It just has these big chunks of oats and almonds and chocolate, and I can smell all those delicious flavors already. And now for the best part. That is so good. It's like bursting with chocolate. I probably totally have chocolate in my teeth, but that is so good. I instantly get the crunch of the oats as well as the chia seeds and the nuts, and then I get just this really soft chocolate flavor that just kind of spreads throughout the bite, and the aftertaste just has a delicious soft almond vanilla flavor to it. That is so good. It's just sweet enough to be emotionally satisfying, but not too sweet that you feel like you're eating dessert for breakfast. This is one of many delicious ways that I've been able to reduce my processed sugar intake, which helps me regulate my nervous system. I love using these natural sweeteners, which I think add so much more interesting flavor and variety and texture without having that thick layer of processed sugar. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today in my kitchen to make this delicious granola. And if you'd like to see the recipe card for this video, please visit my website, gentletummy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you know someone else who would love a healthier breakfast option that includes chocolate, please share this video with them. And I cannot wait to have you again with me in my kitchen next time.